So today I'm going to be ranking the Booker Longlist. It's Booker season, baby. So you may remember, but before I decided to read the Longlist, I did a sort of reaction video, and in that video, I'll leave it linked below, I decided to do a kind of ranking of the Longlist based purely on the blurb. So I ranked them on what I thought was going to be excellent, very good, good, all right, and awful. I sort of ranked them in that sense. Now, I had read 2 books before the Longlist was announced, so I already knew that James was absolutely excellent and that this strange, boring, shite history was awful. So I already knew that, so I could very firmly put them where they belong. However, the others, I was just going off of feeling, just looking at the artwork on the cover and reading the blurb and deciding, will I think this book's going to be excellent? Do I think it's going to be good? That kind of thing. It was just a little bit of fun. I can tell you right now, spoiler alert, that my lord, I was very, very wrong about a lot of these books. I think in my sort of prediction, I only got sort of like 2 right, but that is the way it is. And I'm not going to bore you. Let's jump down low now. This might be a bit of a boring video. It is just going to be me looking over what I thought were going to be my thoughts and feelings on these books, and then rearranging them, and then eventually ending up with a shortlist of 6 books. So let's just go for it. Let's jump down low right now. Right, so here we go. This is the list I had. This is what I predicted I would think eventually about the books based on the blurbs alone. So I read the blurb and then I decided to rank them. And this is what I had. I thought, and I was so wrong, I thought Headshot was going to be excellent. All My Friends was going to be excellent. Creation Lake was going to be excellent. Playground was going to be excellent. And I'd already read James prior to the Booker Longlist being announced. And I already knew that was excellent. What I'm going to do right now, just to get this out of the way, is I am going to move James into outstanding. Okay, it's going to go into outstanding. Now, whether it's a 5-star book and it's one of my favourite books of the year, whether it's, in the absolute outstanding category, I don't know, but I need to, on this list, separate it from everything else. Because James just has everything I want in a novel. The depth of character and the exploration of character is excellent. The themes it's exploring around race, language, code switching are all really interesting. The twist on Huckleberry Finn and taking an already existing story and allowing us another glimpse into another character and what their experiences were. It's just a really fun and playful way of exploring the themes of Huckleberry Finn even further. I thought the writing was absolutely solid. I thought it moved at an incredible pace. The adventure aspects of it is so engaging. It's constantly shifting as they head further down the river. The more sort of adventures they go on, I was just riveted. I love the ending, even though it does really go there. I thought the ending was just fantastic, and I was just screaming at the book, hell yes. And, there's moments in it on a single page that could make me laugh and cry and then laugh again and then feel really sad. And that is the power of this novel. It is a 5-star novel, and I think from what I've just said there, it's outstanding. And that's where it deserves to be. So let's keep moving on. And also, just so you know, this strange, eventful, boring history is also the other book that I read prior to the Longlist being announced. So that I put in awful because I knew it was awful. So next up, let's just work down this way. So we've got Headshot. I thought Headshot was going to be excellent. Oh, I was so wrong. Headshot is absolutely awful. There it goes. Right, so Headshot, absolutely awful. The first chapter was solid, and I was really intrigued by the way the writing was set out and the way it made it feel like a boxing match. And in my head, I was going, please, God, no, they can't do this. They can't do this for an entire book, surely. But they did. I was so mind-numbingly bored by this one and agitated, and I just wanted to karate chop my Kindle. So that goes into the awful. Next up, we have My Friends. So My Friends is one I've been on a bit of a journey with because I don't think I gave it a particularly positive review. I think I gave it like 3 stars, which is good. But I felt like it was just missing like a 5th gear sort of thing. It was missing something for me to really drive it home. But out of all of the novels on the list, this is one that has really stuck with me. I'm still thinking about our protagonist and his sort of like stuck paralyzed position he was put into. And the more I think about it, the more human I feel like that position is. Like, we're not all heroes. We're not all ones to sort of like make that change. I just wanted him to get on a plane and go home. And there's that sort of fear within him and how he's experiencing life just through his friends. And he's so smart, but yet he's completely stuck in limbo. And all these things have really stuck with me, like really stuck with me. And so therefore, I'm moving this one into the very good area. I'm bumping it up. It's going into very good. I still think it was missing something to really elevate the storytelling, the plot of it. I like plot, and it was a bit too ploddy for my liking. It was sort of like open strong, ended strong, but that middle bit was, yeah. And some people are going to love just plodding along with this character, but for me, yeah, it needed a little bit more old va-va-voom. I haven't said that in a while. So next up, Creation Lake. Creation Lake, I'm going to stick in. Let's get rid of these. Let's get them out of the way. I'm going to stick Creation Lake into good. Okay. Now, for some of you, you might be like, "What?" I laughed a lot with this book. If we're looking at like the experience of reading a book, what was my experience? Not the kind of the words on the page. What was my experience of reading this book? I laughed a lot. I hated the protagonist, but I was supposed to. Just some of the writing is really sharp, and in other times it's so dumb. And so, like, well, yeah, you don't need to paint that as if it's some sort of like, incredible thing you've discovered about humanity. It was the cynicism, and it's so pessimistic, and the character, the way she paints everyone and how she thinks about the world is so pessimistic. But I just laughed my ass off. But I don't know whether I was supposed to be. I don't know whether this was meant to be a really serious novel with just a little bit of dark humour. But for me, this was out and out a comedy. But the reason it's only in good is it's trying to be two things. It's trying to be two books. Like the emails with Bruno and the way that story plays out, it feels like a completely different story to this sort of like thrillery spy undercover thing we've got going on. And both of them are half-baked. None of them fully realise their potential, and therefore I was just, yeah. It's good, but it's good. It's good. It goes in the good. Right, next up, we have Playground by Richard Powers, and that is going to go into the very good. And let me tell you why. It's the one I've read most recently. I have major issues in it. Obviously, with Raffi, the character, the use of language and dialogue is just very, very cringy. Very, very cringy. Almost bordering on embarrassing for the writer. However, and also like the characterization, I didn't really connect to any of the characters on an emotional level, and I felt they were all just a bit bland and purely just the most basic of vessels for the themes to take place. However, the themes of this novel is what I really connected to. I really love that exploration of the environment versus AI versus the humanity of the story that's being told and the humans at the center of these decisions that are being made and the discussions that are happening. And all of those were blended extremely well, and I do like Richard Powers' writing, so that did a lot of the heavy lifting for me, but it can't escape the fact that it just the characters were just not there for me. But I'm going to put it in very good because it's stuck with me. Right, next up we have Orbital, which has been named Snorbital, and this was absolute trash. It was really bad. I hated it. It's another one where I just wanted to headbutt my Kindle. Not good. So up its own arse. And sometimes I really love writing that's up its own arse, but in this instance, I was just like, and like everything, it just felt like it was trying to be really like the world, man, the planet, people on the planet, man, how small we are, how insignificant everything is when you're up in space, man. It just, I just was like, oh, get over yourself, fuck off. So, Orbital, absolutely awful. Held, I'm going to stick in Held very much. I'm going to put in a very good. Now, I know that many people hate Held. Many people, for them, it is the worst book on the long list. However, and I've talked about this before, I just had a really good experience with it. I just was able to... There's moments with like the father and his daughter's boyfriend sort of in their little house by the fire, and this sort of like absolute love they share for this human being, but this absolute understanding of they need to do what they need to do. And that sort of sense of connection through sort of heritage and characters and how it's passed down. And also that idea of photography and these snapshots of moments of lives, and these little snapshots which, if you were to just get a random sort of like tin of a sort of family and all of their moments, like if you were able to capture all the photographs of like 3 generations back of your family and just throw them into a tin and shake them about, and all you're doing is you're taking out each of those photographs and sort of examining them and trying to put together this life, trying to piece together the moments and allowing the photographs to sort of speak the poetry of the moment that was happening, which all of that, what I've just said, sounds really wanky, but that's the experience I had. That's the thing I had, and I enjoyed that a lot. So it's in the very good area. Let's keep going. So I'm up to, where am I up to? I've lost my own system now. Oh no. I think I'm up to Wandering Stars, right? Must be. Wandering Stars. Wandering Stars is going in the very good. I enjoyed Wandering Stars. I enjoyed the first half a lot more than the second half, and I definitely do feel like I was missing something from not reading there. However, I just really enjoyed, or I say enjoyed is a strong word, but there is something within the education of how Native people were treated in America at that time, and the process they were put through, almost as if America realized the only way to solve this problem that they deemed they have with Native people is to sort of indoctrinate them into society, American society, as set up by all these rich white men. So I really enjoyed that, and I thought the pacing was solid. It was both sort of human in those moments, but also really painting this picture. And the second half was decent. Don't get me wrong. I've said the second half, isn't as strong, and the only reason the second half isn't as strong is because it relies so heavily on you knowing these characters from the first novel. However, I still connected with them, and I still enjoyed the journey that it went on. It just didn't resonate as much as it could have. So let me just sort that out. Right, where am I up to? Stoneyard Devotional. I'm going to shift these down like that. Stoneyard Devotional. Oh, I did a terrible job. That was an absolute terrible job. Come on, Andy. Sort your life out. Get the olds. There we go. Slidey. Bam. Stoneyard Devotional. Also, I'm going to put in the very good area, just because it's or is it in the, no, it's going to stay where it is. There's something within the universal themes of this novel that I just really connected to. It sent me on a bit of a rabbit hole of looking at kind of mistakes I may have made in my past, big and small, and that idea around forgiveness, and it also made me really, really think, even though this should be obvious, of the idea of maybe the weight I'm carrying from mistakes I've made towards people isn't as big as I think it is, because maybe it doesn't even register with the person I connected with. Maybe if I met up with that person, that they wouldn't even care. And there was something about that, and going through this sort of slow, ploddy process with this novel that just sort of really opened that up for me, and I just really enjoyed that aspect. So I'm going to put it in very good. The Safekeep. Safekeep is going to go, I thought it was going to be good, but turns out it was excellent. Turns out I had an excellent time with it. So yeah, Safekeep, I just really enjoyed. I connected to the characters really well. Even though I hated our protagonist to start, I did eventually start to warm to her. I really liked that kind of the placement of like within Holland, and how the house was almost a third character, and the importance and the value of family and this house and what it represents, and what this other character is willing to do to be a part of that. I can't really go into spoilers, but I thought all those things were excellently done. And the sort of relationship between the two, it's good. It just built really nicely. The reveal is a bit like, okay, it was a bit lazily done, an old hat, but I didn't mind so much because I thought the writing was solid. I really connected to the characters, even if I hated the protagonist. So that's an excellent. Let's keep going down. And I think everything else, everything here stays where it is. It's going to stay in all right. I think that's, so, yeah. Enlightenment, I just can't really remember much about it. I remember having a really good time when I finished it and being like, I really enjoyed, actually the writing, which I didn't think I was going to enjoy. And actually, these characters, I quite enjoyed connecting with them, and I liked how tricky their relationship became. But I don't know, I don't really remember much about it. It's not really stuck with me. So that stays in all right. Wild Houses, again, it's just so there's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing good about it either. It's it's trying to be like a bit of a character study whilst also trying to blend this sort of like thriller crime thing. And again, both ideas are really half-baked. Like, none of them go anywhere near as far as they need to resonate in any kind of way. I can see everyone finishing that novel and being like, yeah, that was all right, and that's it. And then, yeah, the bottom three, absolutely awful trash. Don't waste your time. And I even, this Strange Eventful History, I read it before the long list was announced, and I absolutely despised it then. And and my feelings have not changed. I still think about this novel and hate it. That's it, everyone. That's it. So it is quite a different list. I'll put a little picture up of the previous list just so you can sort of see that. But yeah, quite a different turnout in the end from what I thought I was gonna get from each book. But obviously that was going to be the case. So there you go. Let's not there you go. This is my shortlist. So let's count. There's 6 books on the shortlist, so let's count it out. James, Safekeep, Stoneyard Devotional. Is the ordering here right? Yeah. Okay. James, Safekeep, Stoneyard Devotional, Wandering Stars, Held, My Friends, and Playground. That's my shortlist. Oh no, it can't be. It's 6 books. What am I doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I've got some decisions to make here. Am I thinking about Playground more than Stoneyard Devotional? Oh, everybody. I think Playground is going to make the shortlist. Just put it out there, but I'm going to move that away from the pack. I think I'm going to go with that. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I don't know if there's any. They normally like to put a debut novel on the shortlist, but yeah, there we go. I'll just stick with that. Fuck it. James, Safekeep, Stoneyard Devotional, Wandering Stars, Held, and My Friends is what I would say is my shortlist of the 6 best out of this bunch. There you go. And I just want to add on quickly before I finish. I know I've been rattling on for ages, that this is why it's been a bit of a mid-year for me, because I would expect, a list made up of the 13 best books that have been released in the past 12 months. And that's what this list is. And we're never going to agree on a list, but this list is supposed to be the 13 best books. I would expect at least half, if not more, for this column to be full. I would expect excellent and outstanding to have so many more books in it. But it hasn't. Everything is at 3.5 stars or below. What's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of the 13 books is in the 3 stars or lower sort of category. And that's why it's been a really, really mid-year for me. I would want so many more books to be up in that excellent column. They should be, shouldn't they? Really? I don't know, and I'll be really interested to see other people's sort of like lists in that sense and rankings. But yeah, it's just a bit of an average year. So there you have it. There you go. That was my ranking of the Booker Longlist 2024. As mentioned in that little outro thing there, it's been very mid-year for me. Everything's been within the sort of like 3 to 3.5 star area, all a little bit mid, and I was expecting a lot more. However, there are novels on there that have stuck with me, which is always a good thing. Will I do the Booker long list again next year? Who knows? It's always going to be down to whether I've got the time, really. But I do enjoy engaging with this, and I really enjoy watching other people's videos on what they thought of the different books. I really like how vast. I think if we take a look at everyone's shortlists, I think they're all quite different. I don't know. Someone maybe in the comments or whatever, I might go away and have a look at everybody's shortlists from all the booktubers that I follow and just see kind of where people have ended up with their top 6. But there you go. Anyway, another year done. Will I do a reaction to the shortlist announcement? Maybe. I don't know. I think I'd rather just review a book, but I might, if I've got the time, drop a little video on my reaction sort of thing, but it'll probably be very, very short. But anyway, I'm rambling now. Thanks very much for watching. Really appreciate it. I'll see you all on the next one. I hope you're well.